Hey, what's up? I'm Mackenzie, and I'm here to talk about Pornhub. Content warning. This article came out in the New York Times opinion. I'm hoping to really just summarize the situation, the kind of conversation that's happening right now, and to give it a little bit of context. That the fact that the New York Times made this article is super valuable and super helpful for a lot of the causes that we are advocating for. The main subject of the article is that Pornhub and the company that owns Pornhub, Mindgeek, is profiting off of stolen content, videos of people being raped, videos of human trafficking victims, minors, violence and child abuse. These videos getting circulated publicly have impacted their lives. You know, for some people, it's like they already have the initial trauma of the event, which might have been abusive and non-consensual. And then you have the recording of it that, despite their attempts to eliminate, keep coming up and being distributed and circulating on the internet. And my heart goes out to the people who have been affected by this, and it's really terrible. And I think that this is an indication that gradually platforms are being held accountable. This leads me to legislation for businesses and platforms. Like, self-policing and self-moderation just isn't going to be enough. There has to be legal repercussions for abuses. The victims really need to have some rights in this matter and some actions that they can take. And there's actually a lawyer who I'm going to list here now, who I think specifically focuses on so-called revenge porn, which is a misnomer. It is sexual assault. Pornhub and even Facebook are believed to be protected by something called Section 230 Communications Decency Act. This basically means that the platform is not responsible for content produced and posted by a third party, like users. Like, Section 230, it is coming under scrutiny, and there's a chance that it will be changed or, I don't know, removed. I look forward to the day when platforms are held responsible for the content that they promote, share, make accessible. That just seems like a no-brainer to me. And I think that's really going to change the media landscape for porn and beyond. So I want to tell you the things the sort of like action items that were requested in the New York Times article, that Pornhub recently met. Number 1, allow only verified users to post videos. 2, prohibit downloads. And 3, increase moderation. That's cool or whatever. Like, people are excited that this is happening. I'm kind of excited. It's just like, it's such a small step, and it feels like the bare minimum. And it still doesn't, we're still not talking about, well, you know, what about all these victims? What about all the money that was made off of this content? This monopoly was built on stolen content and abusive content. And making these 3 changes doesn't change that. And there should be legal repercussions for sure. It just makes me wonder, like, what kind of people allow this to happen? What kind of business is okay with this, you know? So that's just what's been happening like this week. But for years, people have been very outspoken about the issues with Mindgeek and all of the websites that they own. Brazzers, Digital Playground, Men.com, Reality Kings, Twisties, RedTube, YouPorn, and Pornhub. It's like a lot. They are listed in this article as one of the top influences on culture right now. The site attracts 3.5 billion visits a month, more than Netflix, Yahoo, or Amazon. The rippling effect of this company, people who have been sexually assaulted, and the content is on this website and impossible to get rid of, and also there are no or very few legal repercussions available. Secondly, porn producers and performers and sex workers who rely on this as a source of income are being cheated, and it should not be the responsibility of the content producer to track down all of the illegal reproductions of their own work, and they should be paid appropriately. Lastly, the consumers of this content, people outside of the sex positivity community or the sex tech community or the sex worker community, aren't going to really have a horse in this race, really. A lot of people don't want to think about it. You know, these sites are free, and they just appear to be the only option. The young people who for whom Pornhub is their first exposure to depictions of sex, in the absence of standardized universal sex education or any sex education at all for many people, this ends up being the stand-in because it's available. That perpetuates a lot of very harmful ideas. They include racism, sexism, the idea that only certain types of bodies are sexually attractive, the idea that sex looks a very specific way. The content that this one company, Mindgeek, is proliferating, the effects of that are generational. The consequences of that are vast, both for personal experiences and also how we relate to one another, how we treat one another. I want to end on the fact that there are a lot of other platforms that do a really good job of providing sexually explicit video content that is made with consent, that is respectful of the subject, that does not promote negative stereotypes or abuse. And we're going to list them below. Right off the top of my head, I'm thinking of Pink and White Productions, Kink.com, even to support individual performers on OnlyFans or Chaturbate. Full disclosure, Chaturbate does advertise with us in our print magazine, which you can buy at mathmagazine.com. These other small companies have really brilliant ideas and fantastic work, and they really don't stand a chance so long as Mindgeek has a monopoly over explicit content on the internet. And if you'd like to do something about it, you can support these companies and be outspoken about what you think about all this, if you can. At Math Magazine, work to support sex workers' rights. We work to create and promote positive depictions, inclusive depictions of sex and desire and gender, and to really show the amazing array, the vastness of possibilities when it comes to sexual pleasure. And it's pretty exciting, and it can be really fun, really hot. It can help you learn about yourself and your partner or partners. It can give you more empathy for the people around you and with experiences different than yours. I think that comes from consent culture and listening and understanding. And, so for as much damage as bad, like oppressive, illegal, abusive porn can be, on the other side of that, there's so much potential for some really fantastic experiences. And so if you're interested in that, I would love for you to check out our website, mathmagazine.com. We have a print magazine, we have a coloring book, we really are trying to just depict and promote all the different ways that you can enjoy yourself sexually. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. We put up a new video every Friday at 6 o'clock. Thanks. Bye. I asked some folks what they thought and thought I could share a little bit with you here. Miss Dirty Lola is a sex educator and entertainer or edutainer who has been a friend of mine in Math Magazine for a long time. And she's also on the Math Magazine editorial board. I sent her a DM on Twitter asking what she thought, and this is what she had to say. Honestly, I'm happy to see that they finally have created guidelines that will protect performers' content, make it harder for folks to post revenge porn, and put an end to child porn being posted, which will hopefully lead to finding those using these sites to post trafficked victims. Parentheses. I'm not at all saying porn is all folks who are trafficked, but we do know traffickers tend to make porn with their victims and use it as a way to control and threaten them. End parentheses. However, I wonder what happened for Pornhub to finally implement these new guidelines. This should have been done years ago. Years is in all caps. I agree. I also got a response from Jiz Lee. Jiz Lee is a porn performer and producer working with Pink and White Productions. Jiz Lee says, content creators have been demanding this for well over a decade, many of whom lost their businesses no thanks to the rampant piracy Pornhub enabled and profited from. They also say, it's great to read that they're committed to this moving forward, but I'm skeptical. Piracy has been part of their business strategy since day one. I'll also add, I've long been critical of Mindgeek and tried to keep off their sites. However, I refuse to shame fellow performers and producers who choose to upload and engage with the company. Our situation in adult is one of nuance and oftentimes precarious. The New York Times demand that payment processors suspend their service was particularly troubling for the potential blanketed impact it might have on other adult companies, including the small independent ones that I work for. Very thoughtful and articulate response. Okay, that's it for today.